Weird. What happened there? Did somebody kick a cord or
ghosts?
So, well, it could be.
Ghosts
Could
of
be
Halloween
ghosts. Spooky. Sorry about that, buddies. Not sure what happened there. That's the first time we've ever had that. Couldn't be our fault though. That's the good thing about it. We'll have more with the Pinder Report coming up for Village Honda in the Northwest Auto Mall and online at villagehonda.com. But right now, we bring in our NHL Insider. On the Insider Hotline, brought to you by TELUS, enter to win one of 6 monthly prizes, including tickets to Calgary hockey games, awesome tech like AirPods, Apple Watches, and more. No purchase necessary. All you have to do is fill out a quick survey to enter. For your chance to win, go to telus.com/Flames contest. Frank Seravalli joins us. He was at a Flames game just hours ago. That's quick travel.
It was not fun. I don't care how many times you've done the red eye in your life, and it's been a lot. You still feel like an absolute bag of ass the next day.
A bag of ass, yeah. So can you sleep on the plane?
No, and this one was 3,000 degrees. And I said something to the guy like, hey, can you turn it down? Can you turn the temperature down? He's like, yeah, I got you. I swear to God, he turned it up.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I went to the game, outside yesterday, and I was layered up. Dude, I'm like stripping on the plane. I was about to go tarp off. That's how hot it was.
Wow.
I am just bullets, and it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Hands to yourself, ladies. Hands off the merchandise.
Oh,
I'm a taken man.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
So where did you watch the game from? What was your vantage point?
So I brought my whole family out to Edmonton, and I know what you're thinking. Questionable life choice. Why would anyone ever do that? We actually had a great weekend, and so it was just me and my son at the game. He's 9. We sat in the second row of the top level.
Sure.
Good vantage point. A little kind of in one of the corners, but it was high enough where you could see most of the ice, and so that was good. And yeah, some interesting creatures behind me. So I got to tell you this story. You guys will enjoy it. And where's Pinder, by the way?
He is he's diligently working at another project. He'll be
he's in
joining
Australia.
us maybe later.
All right. So I'm sitting there, and I say to the guy behind me, I said, hey, you mind taking a picture of me and my son? And he goes, oh yeah, I know you. And he goes, hey, it's great that you brought your grandson to the game.
Oh.
And I was like, I stopped for a second. I go, yeah, actually, it's my son. And then he's like, oh man, that's great. Yeah. He's like, you're still getting it at this age. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Like, dude, come on. I literally wanted to die in a hole.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say, Frank. I don't think that I don't think you look like a grandfather. It's just, you know what? That's bullshit. You deserve better.
Smart ass Edmontonian punk.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That was a wake up call, though. That was like, oh my God, hit a treadmill, son.
Yeah. Anyway, so did the boy have a good time? Was he able to appreciate it, or was it too cold? Or
he did. No, he was actually. I don't know if it's the lunkhead in him, the Seravalli in him, whatever it is. He was like, yeah, I don't need any gloves. I'm good. And he waited all the way until there was 7 minutes left in the game. And he's like, yeah, I could use a pair of gloves right now. Like, all right, here you go, buddy.
Yeah.
Proud of you, but just don't be a jackass.
We'll go with lunkhead.
What's that?
How was the crowd?
It was really good. There's not much by way of a tailgating scene there.
No.
Just because of where the stadium is located, kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's almost right in a neighborhood. And that part was kind of lacking, but they were festive, active, well lubricated. The weather was great. Like, honestly, you couldn't ask for better outdoor rink weather. Like, it was perfection. And Saturday, the day before, was frigid. I was out at that fan fest for a couple hours. The wind was whipping pretty good. And I was like, I hope it's not like this on Sunday.
We were talking about it during the game yesterday. It's interesting because when the game was here in Calgary, they had the junior hockey team played, and they did a whole bunch of different things. So different groups got to use the ice. I guess this is just one and done. I thought there'd be some other group that would be able to use it. They got the Golden Bears. They got they got junior
the Oil
team.
Kings. I mean, they could do anything they want. Yeah, I don't know of any other events there.
Well, success that the league does these things well, right? People take runs at the NHL for different sorts of things. They've pretty much got this figured out, these live events.
Honestly, I thought Nickelback fit in well. Like, they had some parties surrounding the weekend. The Arkells were in town. I thought they dressed up the field pretty nice. Like, that stadium's like 50 some years old.
Oh, Frank, we know. We know.
It's gross. And so, it's
You've
certainly
not been to ours.
They put some lipstick on that, and it looked pretty good, all things considered. And the fan fest was actually great. I love that it's free and open. Like, you got kids all ages, people that are into hockey, casual fans, not at all. And that part was good too.
Yeah.
And so let's start critiquing. Thoughts on...
I knew you were horny for this.
Well, let's get to the important things. Thoughts on the outfits that the teams wore to the game?
I would say I'll give a thumbs up to the Oilers and thumbs down to the Flames.
Okay. Yeah.
It just felt like, if you're going to do the whole overall cowboy thing, like going no tarp under it was just a little odd. Like, this was not a calendar shoot. This was like going into the Heritage Classic.
We didn't really get it either. We thought
I'd like some explanation.
The only thing I could think of, and this is perhaps a too candid view into my screwed up brain, was of the Kelsey brothers talking on their podcast about how nipples are nature's thermometers as those guys are stepping off the bus.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It
went that deep.
It was an interesting take that would be something that people in Calgary would be able to relate to. Oh, look, I have my coveralls on or my overalls on, and now they're wearing them.
But that's Calgary. The thing, like at least the Oilers were like authentic work stuff, right? And the funny thing is, neither one of these teams had worked really at any point or competed at any point in the season prior to Sunday.
Yeah.
What about the game?
You want to keep going, Rhett? Yeah.
Slay a few demons, maybe, and get things going. Are we impressed with their team? And what Pinder is not here right now. He might pop in. He is 100% throwing in the towel on the Flames.
Okay. I think it's slightly early. I mean, at a very similar juncture to this last year, the Flames were 5-1. So we know how fortunes can change. I'm not here to pump anyone's tires. I will say that the way that game started, there was a real chance that could have gotten out of hand. And the one thing I did like was some pushback. They were in the mix and frankly should have, with all the power play opportunities, should have been in a much better spot. I'll tell you what, though, and I want to be real careful how I phrase this because I was sitting in the second level, and you know how dangerous it is to make any sort of assumption about what you're seeing in an outdoor game. But I don't think the Oilers are a very fast team. They've got the best skater on the planet in Connor McDavid. But when he's not on the ice, I think one of the big things they struggle with is team speed. And it was really jarring to me, and not just in a, hey, you're watching it from a few hundred feet away. Even just compared to the Oilers, the Flames, they look like a really slow team. Oh, and that's what really stood out to me.
I've thought that for years, and everyone's always said, no, fast. I'm like, fast? Who?
No.
No, Daryl would say, you don't need to. You can play fast. You don't have to be fast. It just your defense have to be quicker on decisions and moving
When
the
you're
puck.
3 strides behind guys getting to pucks, like that's just
So in
part
other
of-
words, they're slow.
they look slow to me, and I need more in-person viewings.
No, you
but,
don't. Just trust me.
Okay.
You can trust my take.
Whew.
I know
Oh
you
my-
always do.
We're taking some leaps today, buddy.
Yeah.
I know you
Yeah.
always trust whenever I mention something, but I would confer with your hypothesis that they are slow and have been slow and will continue to be slow.
Well, and I think when they were 5-1, it's easier to go into a bit of a tailspin than to be 2-6-1 and having lost 5 in a row and in desperate need of wins. It's Dallas coming up, and then they've got the Kraken on the weekend. Dallas is off to a strong start. The problem right now is, and I'm sure a lot of teams go through it, it's hard to watch the Flames and see where, like, that's how they're going to start winning games. Their goaltender is already giving them pretty good play, but there's nothing right now that would give you even an inkling to think they're close to breaking out and going on a bit of a run. There's really nothing right now.
Yeah, and I get where you're at, and I get why the marketplace would be feeling that today. I mean, look, I can't. I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine up anyone's ass. That's not my job. That's not what I do. But the fact of the matter is, the guys that are being paid at the top of the pay scale and the stars of this team, or the guys that are supposed to be stars, need to give you more. And that's really where this team is going to break out of that. There's no chemistry. There's no cohesion. It doesn't look like the Flames are in sync. Even just, simple things like how they're entering the zone. Like they don't even look like they're anywhere remotely on the same page. Am I crazy, Rhett, in saying that?
You're bang on. And I said there's 2 ways out of this. And I don't think they have the personnel to do either. One of them was to get into a massive brawl and have to fight for each other. And I don't think they can or will. The other one was to pull a Rodman and everyone go to Vegas for a week and get it out of and find a way to bond and party and do something crazy, because there's no.
Why is that called the Rodman? Why don't we call that the retro?
Because if I did it, it wouldn't be as good as if Rodman did it. That's why. If you're going to do it like Rodman would. I could do it as good as I can, but I can't do it as good as Rodman did. Anyway, I don't see.
Why didn't anyone fight? There were a million opportunities yesterday to do it. I kept saying to my son, I kept nudging him, hey, someone's going to go.
Yeah. I don't know why no one fought, but they don't see, like, I think there's the odd guy that would, and Gilbert, and
it's Gilbert and Greer. Beyond that, I really don't know who's even semi interested in doing it.
And Gilbert's happy to do it, I think, but he better be smart about it, because he keeps getting clunked in the head and getting concussed. So that might be but they don't have the personnel to play a hard style of hockey. They're not.
But that's not what it's about. It's not.
You're arguing with the guy that said
this is a mentality. It's not a you've got a bruiser in your lineup to go do it. It's someone transcending that to make a statement, as you're saying, to drag someone into the fight. And no one is doing that. And I thought, even just for the hell of it, 2 desperate teams, a packed 60,000 seat stadium, perfect ODR weather, the entire country watching, and no one feels the need to do that.
I've critiqued this team. I've been critiqued for being hard on this team, to saying they have no heart and hustle and backbone. And they don't. They just don't. And when you don't care about each other, you don't do it.
There's been no bigger headline in the month of October to start the season than what Nikita Zadorovs said. Bar none. Hey, Pinder's here.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I am living.
Yeah. So a couple things there. first off,
Pinder's here to lighten the mood, I think. Is that what
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
do here?
yeah.
I need some Pinder style stimulants today after that red.
Man, yeah, you're in rough shape. You should have been just stayed at home and watched our live stream party instead. We were just hammering mineral waters and definitely not.
You guys should have seen me flagging down the bartender in the airport this morning at like 6:34 after getting off that flight. Need one now.
Yeah. Go ahead there.
Yeah, two things. So everyone loved what Zadorov had to say after the game on Thursday. He completely did not hold back. And that was after Tuesday where he called out his teammates in that one. And then I thought he was their worst player yesterday, which is saying something because there weren't many good ones. So just a thought on that. And then secondly, you were buying the Huberdeau bounce back. I think your bold proclamation was 90 points. How are you feeling on that right now? Because please sell us some hope. We don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, not feeling great on the 90 points, to be candid. Look, I mean, I thought for sure the way he spoke and vibes around the team that this would be a totally different feel heading into this season. I did, take a look though, and not to say that it all or that it's deserved or not deserved when I give you this stat, but I was curious about this today after, flying back. Jonathan Huberdeau's even strength ice time, 141st in the league among forwards.
He hasn't earned it.
When you hear that, do you say hasn't earned it, or do you say this is a guy that can't produce without getting more time?
Every line he's on gets caved in. He turns over the puck like crazy, and he's played 88 or 89 games in Calgary, and I cannot remember a single one where he seemed to take over or be like, wow, that was vintage Huberdeau. And the sample size is almost 100, Frank, and I get that he didn't agree with the coach last year on some stuff, and it might not have been a fit, but I'm just sick and tired of all these excuses about left side, right side, line mates, coach this. It's just, he doesn't look like a very talented player. He doesn't look like a shell, or like anything close to a guy that could even get a point per game. I don't know how this goes better.
So so let me just play devil's advocate to you for a second. And I'm not advocating or shilling for him, but my question, you said the one thing that was so jarring about what you said is he doesn't look like a very talented player. Like, where did it go?
That's
this is a guy that 115 points 2 years ago, and you're like one of the best playmakers in the league, and all of a sudden it's not there. You don't just wake up one day and forget how to play hockey.
Couple things. I'm again not a huge Huberdeau advocate. I haven't liked it from the start, but in the situation you're in, he hasn't earned the ice time. But I said to these guys before he came on, Frank, I said, what do you do with him? You put him in the rafters? But maybe the other approach is you go every other shift. What's the downside? Play him 25 minutes a night.
Till the wheels fall off. I mean, and then at least you've crossed one more thing off your list for him to say, hey, this is why this can't work.
100%. So, and then the other thing I said about it is, and we're grasping at straws here. We'll take any type of hope. Maybe it's like you said, they're slow, and his game needs guys with some speed. Now,
he might not be Sharangovich and Dubé. Like, they've tried all the fast guys
not
too,
fast right? Though. Like, we keep thinking Dubé's fast, and I don't know that he's like. I think he's average speed around the league at best. I just do, and I could be wrong.
The first thing you said Dubé fast. I was like, I think pretty average speed, and then you said it. So
Sharangovich then. I mean, they tried it for
He's
2
got
games.
wheels, yeah. I mean, right? And I said in camp, he's the perfect player to play with Huberdeau. He is definitely not a brainiac by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to hockey IQ. Just get the puck and shoot. That's all you have to do. Get there and shoot.
Fly, get open.
And for all of this, who give them the fastest guys then? We're trying to come up with a game plan that might turn things around. It's a squint, but there's no downside to trying everything now.
Yeah, it's hard, and I don't know if it's because of yesterday's game. The game Thursday, Frank, against St. Louis was, to me, as bad as they've looked all year. They have not looked good much this year. completing passes in the second period was a real challenge and a chore. It's something that they failed at. And it was in that period that I think Huberdeau had 4 or 5 shifts, sat for a good chunk of it. And I wonder if that impacts, because we're so early in the season, the shift. But it's you don't see, I don't want to keep repeating myself, and Ryan kind of said it. You don't even see kind of the flashes, or there's an example of the skill that this player has, which allowed him or saw him to be over a point per game or 100.
But it's got to be there somewhere, right? That's the part that I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it, but it didn't just get lopped off on the flight from Florida to Calgary.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Well, yeah, that's the great mystery, Frank, is where did it go and how do you get it back? Is it between the ears? Is he out of shape? Is he mentally not, like, has he kicked his feet up since signing that deal? Is there stress of the environment too much? Like, coach,
is it fair to say that in Florida you had Barkov? Did he have to be the guy?
You had anonymity no matter what, because no one was talking about your team or your situation. Like, there was no one being hard on you in Florida ever. Like, there were 7 people that knew.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So you get traded to Calgary, right? He could have easily just turned around and said, yeah, this isn't for me.
Not with that
I'll
contract.
play 1 year here to finish out my deal.
I'll
become a UFA and I'll go play wherever.
No.
All that
Look at the contract he got.
Well, I'm saying once they did that, of course. How many people are saying? But what my point is, you could have just said to the team, like, this place isn't for me. Like, I'm not. This is not where I want to hang my hat. I don't think that's it at all. I don't think he's one of those guys that quakes under pressure. I think if I were to wager on what I think the largest problem is, it's chemistry. It's trying to find someone that fits his style. And I think we all thought it'd be plug and play, swapping out playmaker for playmaker, Gaudreau and Huberdeau. And
you can say that, and that's fine, but it comes back to me again, where if you're 10.5 and we have to cater to finding you the right guys, then you aren't 10.5. Right?
He's definitely not 10.5. That we've seen here.
Yeah, there's no question that he's not played up to that level.
Yeah, there's so many things, and it's.
But can we go back to Zadorov though? Because we started on that, and then Pinder joined the chat, and Pinder,
he pindered us.
Pindered, yeah.
Yes, I do.
So, why were there other guys coming out? Blake Coleman, the next day, sort of trying to tamp it down. Oh, sometimes you just get a little emotional and say things you don't mean. Like, it was as clear-eyed an assessment after a morning skate. He knew exactly what he was doing and what he was saying. He was sending a message. And, Pinder, you can make the point about his play over the last couple games since saying that, and that's fine. But the fact that someone said it and the fact that it was October 25th, to me, is what jumps off the page.
And I think that's why the other teammates are trying to tamp it down. It's like, buddy, don't overreact here. We don't need another grenade. But he's right. I think he's right.
He's saying it publicly. We're only seeing 3% of what it actually is. It's probably a lot bigger than that.
For sure.
And he's saying it to sound the alarm. Now, this is where the next part of the equation needs to come in terms of action. Because you've heard little cracks at it before, and you've seen people sort of pull the thread here. How soon until you see some kind of transaction where you begin to try and fix what's ailing the team? And I don't know I'm not there. I'm not behind those closed doors. I don't know what the issue is, but clearly there's something about this group that doesn't mix.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he didn't really veil who he was pointed at either when he talks about, star players not liking certain coaches. I think it's the guys everyone's talking about that seem to be the direction of his comments. And like, what do? You go trade for Duclair out of San Jose? How do you fix it? I don't know.
Let me ask you that. If you say that Coleman was trying to tamp it down and Zadorov was highly critical, who are you closer to believing? I'll start with you.
100%. It's not even a question, Zadorov.
because that's where I fall in. And then you go back to less than a year ago when Nazem Kadri was on Frankly Speaking and was asked, the Flames make the playoffs if we start playing like a team. So
and then he went on to be their worst player the rest of the season. It was very similar, actually.
But I mean, regardless of performance, and you and I have gone back and forth on this since last night. Performance be damned. This is multiple guys who are saying shit ain't working.
Yeah.
So you can focus on how they play in the next game, or you can focus on the bigger thing that, and we've talked about it for years. Last year, we used the word dysfunctional over and over and over, and it's worse now. And they've fired a coach and moved out a GM and done all of this, and it's the same thing. And we go back even beyond that, when it was the Kachuk against Muzzin, and no one backed him up, and it was, the room's great. The room's great. Room ain't great.
I don't think anyone's going to fight you on the mix not being right.
I was talking to a Hall of Famer this weekend, all the legends in town in Edmonton, and he goes, one of the things that really pisses me off about listening to players talk in the media today is say we have a close team. He goes, what does that even mean? What does that mean, close team? If you don't play like it, it doesn't matter whether you can go out and pound 100 beers or not.
If you're not going to stick up for each other, yeah.
Doesn't matter. And we haven't seen that yet.
Were you going to say something there, Ed?
Well, I was going to say I fucking told you so, but I don't need to.
That's pretty good.
He's been saying that for a year. We've got that message clear.
Yeah. So it's...
you know what? I'll say it on his behalf. Daryl Sutter told you so too, and we all said you're an idiot and an asshole.
Well, anyone said he was an idiot. He made some questionable decisions. I don't think his treatment of the Stars
made those questionable decisions because he saw something that the rest of us, or some of us, were maybe missing. He's been around the game for 100 years.
I'm talking less about the vets. I'm talking more about the treatment of young players and how that hurt the club.
Sure, absolutely.
Both of those things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, and to be fair, Rhett was critical of Daryl last year and in some of those things, but I don't think he was wrong on Huberdeau. And you'd hoped that a fresh coach would change, but you can't just remove an $84 million player. You can remove a $4 million coach. I understand why the players won that tug of war. It was their only chance to try to say, okay, if Huberdeau says it's a problem, we can't just cut him loose. We can't cut the coaches. It's a tough spot to be in.
And I still, it's not even a criticism, but you got to think that Treliving saw the writing on the wall with this group.
I don't think so. I think if things had gone a different way, he'd still.
Well, of course, if things go a different way, but they didn't go away. And as soon as he saw that, he's like, how are we pulling out of this?
Also part of the dysfunction.
He built a small
window. That was incredibly dysfunctional.
Yeah,
like the way that went out.
Like all the bets that Treliving made, like maybe they were a 4 out of 10 to succeed, and this was a 4 out of 10, and that was a 3 out of 10. None of them hit, and all those deals set you up for 2 to 3 years of contention, and you knew after that was going to be gross. But we can deal with that as long as we get some good deep playoff runs.
So okay, hold on a second. I've said this really consistently since I started, with you guys. Let's take a step back. This whole thing, we have to think macro here. 30,000 foot view. It's not going back to what you were just talking about with Zadorov. It's not about him saying it and then having 2 games where he doesn't play well. There's an overall, we're talking about symptoms and not the disease here. And if you want to talk about how the team was set up and the roster construction, you got to take a bigger step back and look at really who's controlling who's the person at the controls. And that's ownership. That's where the directive comes from, because I think there's been a number of different people there that probably at one point or another would have liked to have said, hey, the best course for the Flames right now is to tear it down, is to try and rebuild, try and get a top 3 pick for the first time, try and be in that mix, to reboot. That's the best course of action. But when you're being held to a different standard and you have a different mandate, you can only do what you can within those parameters. And that's what all these guys are dealing with. It's what Brad Treliving was dealing with. It's now what Craig Conroy's dealing with. Why do you think there's been such a push to try and get some of these guys re-signed, because that is the path to being as competitive as possible. Look at what's happening around the league. 2 of the 7 Canadian teams did not sell out their home opener this year. Someone had to fly to Winnipeg to ask Jets chairman Mark Chipman whether any sort of relocation talk was fantasy. That's where we're at in today's business with the NHL. Ticket prices are high. Fans don't want to come out and buy into a team that they don't believe in, and rightfully so. And you've got owners that aren't wanting to dig deep into their pockets to fund this operation. They want to have a team that's in the mix. You got to have a stomach to have 5 to 8 years of writing $50 million checks a year.
And dig deeper into that. There's 32 teams. Half are going to be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
I think the bad attendance would help Murray flip his opinion, to be fair, Frank. It's not like you're adding talent when you extend guys. You're just keeping the same group that already isn't drawing people. I think if his plan was we bring it back with a new coach, I expect revenue to be X because this team will be competitive. When it's not and people stop showing up because they're disenchanted with this group, you say, oh, my plan to get revenue to X didn't work. We need a new plan. And I wouldn't be surprised. The only time this club's ever rebuilt is when they were forced to because their team was old and bad. It was the same thing with Jerome when Jay Feaster was here. You can't trade him. You can't trade him. You even know not to ask to trade him, even when everyone sees you're not good enough with Jerome, and he just scored 41 goals. This is the point where this franchise, since he's been the majority owner, has decided to rebuild. When they've been so stubborn on being competitive that they get old, mediocre, and they're forced to rebuild.
I guess, because I thought about that last night. I wonder if part of that is in ownership's thinking as well, because they did. They sold Jay Bouwmeester and they sold Jerome McGinley and they sold off. They didn't do well on any of those deals. Emile Poirier and Morgan Klimchuk and the U.S. college guys that they got. I'm not to rebuild. It's what you do, but they did a version of that, and it didn't help them at all.
Mm-hmm.
None of the assets that they got from selling off their big guys helped the cause. So I don't know if that makes him a little leery of it. I guess, Frank, we'll let you go because this is depressing as hell.
Jeez.
It is early. We sit here because we watch this every single day. We talk about it every single day. So it's kind of riding that balance of being too negative or whatever. How much of a sample size do you need to see of this year's team before you say, yeah, I feel confident knowing what that team is and that this is the path they should take?
Each successive game feels a little bit more like a continuation of last season. I'd like to get to a quarter of the year before really trying to make that determination, but we're getting close to that point where it seems to be pretty overwhelming that this group is what it is, especially when you have players coming out to send a message that they have to this point. That's the alarming part, is they're telling you there's a problem. And, at some point, I'm reminded of this all the time. If someone's telling you what they are, you got to believe them.
Yeah. If they keep telling you.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And this is why we always talk about U.S. Thanksgiving. That's around the quarter pole. The numbers hate you if you're out by a certain margin at that point. There's always the outlier like the Blues that were last place in early January. But I think you have to trust that if you're really bad at U.S. Thanksgiving, you're really bad.
I mean, I just like to see some fire. I'd like to see some compete. And there was like a little bit of that on Sunday.
That was your heartburn.
Yeah, that's those.
That was from the schnapps.
Yeah, it was from the 19 Caesars I had this weekend.
Oh, spicy. Yeah.
But no, I would say there was a slight pushback from Calgary, which was at least a little bit encouraging, because it could have been the way that first period went. It could have been a 7-1 game.
Yeah. Well, and I thought the refs helped. They got some 5-on-3s. They got over 3 minutes of 5-on-3 time. And then also it's like,
didn't really capitalize on them is the amazing part. Like,
yeah. And so now we're giving them credit for basically having like a quarter of a period where they control play. That's how low the bar is for this group right now.
Uncoordinated, or as a guy that I coach with youth hockey always says, whenever our team's entering the zone, they seem to have a coordination attack, and that's what it seemed like the Flames are doing at times.
Well, glad to see you made it home safely, Frank.
Get some rest, Frank.
Yeah.
Or keep at it. Make another kid. Let's go.
Make another kid, buddy. I got.
No, you're still banging or whatever it was. Still getting it.
Yeah,
We're
still
happy to
getting
know
it.
you're still getting it, Frank.
Yeah, buddy. So glad you're still at it these days.
Yeah, so glad.
At it.
Yeah.
No time for slave.
Like absolutely mortifying. Mortifying.
See you in a week, Frankie.
See you guys.
There you go. It is our Insider Hotline presented by TELUS. At TELUS, they're using world-leading technology to drive meaningful change, from transforming healthcare and making the food supply more sustainable to reducing our environmental footprint and connecting Canadians in need. Last year alone, TELUS team members and retirees volunteered 1.4 million hours and gave $125 million to local communities. TELUS, the most giving company in the world. Learn more at TELUS.com/givesback. Let's make the future friendly. Thank you, TELUS. We're
doing these shows already, and it's October, hey?
Yeah.
Well, how many in a row have they lost?
It's 5.
5.
So I mean,
they're not. It's not that they're undeserving of critique, and it doesn't look like they're. Damn it! You guys were right there. I mean, they were within a goal, but the only thing you could say was, "Wow, they're within a goal." I can't.
They're really lucky to be in this spot. The refs helped, and their goalie's been good.
So, more Pinder Report.
Finish it up. We'll dive right back in with Calgary FC. They played in the CPL final game, the championship game in Hamilton against Stinkin' Forge. 0-0 through regulation. 0-0 through stoppage time. An extra half hour added in the first half. Cavalry strikes 1-0, only to watch Forge tie it and then score the eventual winner. 2-1 they fall. Heartbreak at Tim Hortons Field, but still greeted by their fans at Calgary Airport today when they got back. That's a tough one, but they did win the regular season title, which gets them into the CONCACAF tournament. They were looking for the double. Bottom left, you can see Ali Moussi. You can see Tommy Wheeldon Jr. Bottom right. And the fans with signs to welcome them home. Meyer Bevan up top. Oh, boys, that's Heartbreak Hotel. When you go over 100 minutes without a goal, you score 1, and that's got to be the winner, right? Bang, bang, lose 2-1. Oh,
Fat Cats had all that hardware now, so they couldn't play as hard as they needed to.
I knew there was going
That's
to be
coming with
some
the heat.
snide
Yeah,
comment.
I thought there'd be some sympathy from Brad.
Being cheeky.
Stampeders got pumped at home, fellas, but it didn't matter. Meaningless game against the Blue Bombers. They're still heading to BC this weekend. Congrats. New Stamps record. When you're taking down one of Alex Singleton's defensive records, you know that is pretty impressive stuff. As we have, let's see, 131 tackles. Micah Awe, holy moly, 131 tackles. That's 8 more than Singleton's all-time franchise record. Nice little season there. Also probably means you're on the field a fair amount. That offense was
lots of opportunities for to make
and the 6-12 Stamps are indeed playoff bound. If you just win a 30-year game, kids, the great thing's going to happen. But hey, they're all 0-0 now. They go to BC where they won 2 weeks ago to start their playoff journey this weekend. And happy birthday, Kadeem Carey.
Oh, nice.
Great start to the season. He was the offense early on, it seemed like. Been a good Stamp. Kind of going to Stamps and kind of going to baseball and definitely getting into the kickers. Here is John Bender winning Halloween as he dressed up as Alec Manoah, only to get seen by Alec Manoah and put on Alec Manoah's Instagram by Alec Manoah. Big man looks like Alec Manoah. Impressive stuff.
Well, how about that?
I don't know who's, because Manoah is like a good, easy 260, 270. So even bigger than Manoah. Big John's a unit.
Well, congrats there, Johnny boy.
Yeah, Johnny, you're famous on the interwebs.
Famous.
How about that, eh?
You're afraid of spiders, sharks, snakes, now kangaroos.
Outdoors.
Can I, leaving your house,
Fresh air.
can I add jaguars to the mix?
Well, I mean, probably.
Let's have a look here. What's going on in this swamp?
Oh, jeez.
That's a jaguar hauling out a monster alligator or crocodile. That is the 5th strongest bite in the animal kingdom. And that big cat is not messing around dragging a gator out of the swamp.
That's some core strength too,
holy.
right?
Whew.
He's got some real
You
good
don't
core.
often see the gator just, yeah, I'm done. I'm cooked.
And the gator's like, ow, ow, ow. Come on, dude.
I'm dead.
Ow, my neck. That really hurts. Come on.
Can we use that big cat to throw 16 on him? Eh?
I don't like it when cute animals get walloped.
What about gator though?
I'm okay with it because the gator he'd get you, so it's all right. You know, food chain. I'm all right.
Okay, let's go to we got Rob Ray and Rhett Warner. We're doing feats of strength in Buffalo on the weekend. So Rob is really trying to pump up the group with a picnic table lift.
My big Bobby's about to do some damage. Go on, Bob!
Oh. That's
lifted up the end of the picnic table, went to go underneath it to do a press, and it
well, did you notice the stumble before going in? I think
Yeah.
they're in the pissa.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how that's supposed to go. He kind of a couple too many barley sandwiches.
That was you last night, Pinder. If you'd have picked up a table,
that was you.
On you.
Got some vacancy here, Origin fellas. That was a robust fridge yesterday.
Hey, what the hell? Mark, Sterling, what the hell?
It's not their fault. It's not your fault.
Origin.
You can help
Origin
solve the
Brewing.
problem, though. See you in a couple days, fellas. And a couple more for you. So that was Rob Ray's. Rhett, we know him as a finely tuned athlete, balance, explosive power. This is him. This is his bar routine, essentially. Let's check it out. He's trying to cross the canal.
Yes.
Oh. That's a good one. Sorry, Rhett. You're looking good though. First one, perfect. Second one, perfect. Third one. Like, where are you going from there? I feel like that.
I lost.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stick the landing on that last one, or
it's not gonna end well. And we had one more thing I wanted to add. Rhett, Dean's added another dog at the house because he's got his own dog. Was it Birdie? And then he's got your dog, and now he's got this dog. This makes everyone smile and laugh. Some about his eyes, I think, is like, I don't know what's going on here. It really is. It's keeping Dean in good spirits around the house.
No, that's no good.
That is no good at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to sleep over. Oh, Jesus.
He's getting, you know what? He's getting into the stash.
Yeah.
You got to put your stash up a little in the higher cupboard or something.
Fungus has got to go on the top shelf. That's the wrong spot down low. Is it nap time? Hey, Dino, nap time.
Oh, poor dog. Poor dog. Got to put a lock on the cupboard. There you go. That's a Pinder Report presentation of Village Honda. Huge selection of used vehicles on site, all makes, all models, up to 70 on site. Over 400 more available to you via the dealer group. Makes Village Honda your one-stop automotive destination in Calgary. They are definitely worth the trip. Located in the Northwest Auto Mall, they are your dealership for life. Thank you, Village Honda. Yes, sir.
I think we've done this in the past, that perhaps we need some people deep breath in it tonight, finding some zen, and text in the reasons to be positive for the Flames moving forward.
We can do that.
Just flip those standings upside down.
Positive vibes.
Whatever it is, find your positive. You can't be living in being all upset all the time.
It's true, right?
Calabrini, what's his name? The kid? Oh, baby.
Positive vibes only. That's what we need
vibes.
Here. Turn some things around. And I have maybe something I maybe do have something tomorrow that will lift your spirits. I don't want to say, I can't confirm, but it's I feel very good about it.
Okay.
Feel pretty good about it. I was going to play this, talk about wild animals. This hearing loss clinic. We had the one ad that they had last week. It was the turtle, you know. Mm-hmm. These are the things you deal with. You just never know. Hearing loss clinic, hearingloss.ca. I highly recommend you get yourself an assessment. Hear Here's a little piece of the ad that they put together. Because you might be, I'm here to tell you, that's not what that sounds like.
That doesn't sound right to me.
That's not, it doesn't sound right. But that would be, I didn't know what, is that a coyote? Is that a wolf? They're scary, those things.
Howling at the
wolves
moon, that's a
are-
wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, wolves are
Bigger than a
scary.
Yodi, too.
Locally owned and operated, award-winning hearing healthcare, client-centered approach. Additional services include custom ear protection, musician molds, custom in-ear stay on your stage monitors if you're a rock and roller, if you're a performer. Inclusive for all ages. Helping you hear better is simply their way of helping you live better. I am a customer. I'm a believer. Hearingloss.ca. Book yourself in and go and have the hearing loss clinic experience today. The Betway, we did our point spread picks. I can never remember because we do the picks on Friday and then we go and do your own thing on the weekend once you get closer to game time. But Pinder, you completely changed your approach. You went with you found some games that you liked, you felt good about, and then went a complete 180 and took the other side.
Went full opposite George. So basically the thought being my logic was so bad that I had to keep that same logic and just go to the other side, and all these 0-3 weeks would turn into 3-0 weeks, obviously. Close. I was a Giants field goal miss away from going 3-0, fellas. And they bungled that. They had the Jets.
That was it was very Jetsy, but somehow still it looked good on the Giants. They miss a field goal, a chip shot, and then lose in extra time. So yeah, you were that close to going 3-0.
Man. And that gets me to a very robust 6-15 on the season.
I mean, New Orleans won going away. Denver wins outright.
All those felt gross too. All those picks.
Congrats to you. That's what it's got to be. You got to feel like.
Well, hang on.
Crap.
Hang on. Is that plus 3.5 I got with the Giants? I thought it was 2.5. If it's 3.5, I hit that.
If
they
it is
lost
3.5,
by 3. It's a 3-0
I think
week.
it's a 3-0.
The line changed to 2.5, but when we had it on Friday, it was 3.5. Good Lord. Oh, baby.
Well, the Giants would need to be plus 3.5.
Well, they were. The Jets were favored. Jack's got this written down on. That's probably why we're having issues here. Yeah, I had the Giants plus 2.5 here on Friday. So that's just a typo from Jack.
Yeah.
He's screwing us.
Fucking Jack.
Your
2
record
and
might
1
be
week.
wrong too. I'm all over the place today. Like this stream ending, and I don't know what's going on.
Jack, are you all right?
I'm hanging in there, but
What's the
I am
matter?
feeling a little weird.
Are ya?
I'm just like waiting for the stream to end again now. It's like in my
Yeah.
head.
Something happened there. That was
Don't
weird.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the it's there's something between the game last night. Morale is real low. Real low. We got to, like Rhett said, we got to turn this thing around. Spin it. Look at Pinder's picks. They're already coming around.
See?
This is how it starts. Let's who's next? Your pick there, Jackie boy. Who do you want to talk? What
Dealer's
picks
choice.
are next? Oh, Jesus.
Womp womp womp.
Jackie.
Jack
Oh,
was
and he's
over
back
three.
on the Steelers too.
Oh, the Steelers. I should have known. It's okay, Jack.
What was with KC yesterday? Did anyone watch that game at all?
The Denver defense has suddenly looked good after being just aerated for 4 weeks. Their last 4, they've been very good, and I don't know.
And they had just played each other, about 3 or 4 weeks ago? Like Russell Wilson's been playing better. They went to school on them. Casey has no thought that they're going to lose to this team. So
Upset special right there.
upset special. Okay, let's move on. That doesn't feel very positive. I'm not getting very positive vibes coming from that.
Positive vibes.
My pick, I go 1-2. Miami did cover the big 9.5.
They fell down 7-0 too. I was worried about you, team.
Yeah. Atlanta, they got
Levis?
shit pumped by I don't know what's going on there. And I had Indy with a +1. No dice. New
Not
Orleans
close.
put the boots to them. So tough week for me. I fall to 8-13. Goodness gracious. Can that? I don't even think that's right, Jack. I think you're right. Your math is off. Let's see where Retro's at on our Betway point spread picks.
Oh,
1 and 2. Still over 500, Rhett.
You and Jack both had Pittsburgh and Houston,
I knew I should have changed that.
and you had the Vikings -2.
Hmm.
Well,
We're
congrats
making
to
this
Pinder.
look hard, eh?
Pinder, great week.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
So close to 3-0.
So close. So we're gonna that
Is that-
energy is gonna rub off on all of us. We're gonna have a big week.
Good. Love it. See you Friday.
Week 9, right? Is that what we're in now?
It'll be week 9. We have
Something
7 weeks of picks because week 2 we didn't put picks in.
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Well, here's some more good news. We're gonna elevate your mood with DoorDash.
Oh.
You know what DoorDash is? You get the DoorDash app, you go on there. What are you gonna order? You want some food, groceries, pharmacy, bakeries, flower shops, whatever. They're gonna bring it right to your door, drop it on your front step, default contactless delivery setting. And we've been telling you about it and can't stress it enough. Use the promo code. If the promo code gets used a bunch by you guys, then we're going to keep DoorDash and they're going to keep giving you these types of deals.
Deals.
Let's keep it going, boys. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter promo code NATION25. That's NATION25. What's on the menu, Ryan Pinder, for DoorDash?
Couple options for you. Raiders are in Detroit to take on the Lions. The hometown Lions favored by 7. That is a 6:15 kickoff for Monday Night Football. Film enthusiast Jimmy Garoppolo back under center for the Raiders after missing some time with injury. And we have Game 3 of the World Series in the desert as the Arizona Diamondbacks host the Texas Rangers. 6:03 first pitch. You could have some dueling screens shortly after that first pitch tonight. Texas -115, slight favorites on the road. That series tied 1-1. That's what's on the menu.
Thank you. That promo code again, Nation25. Put it in there to get that 25% off and 0 delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more with DoorDash. Dash that for the win.
Now, did you do any more research on bibimbap? I know that really threw you for a loop on Friday.
No,
Did you
I
hear
didn't
anything
because
at
I
all?
couldn't even remember what it was. It was
Yeah,
Unskinny
just
Bop
sound-
and
Have it.
huh?
Honestly, try one. They're
Try it.
phenomenal. You're gonna love it.
Stop yelling. Stop yelling at me.
Can I put some ranch on it?
Don't put ranch on it.
Well, we got through it. We have talked way too much about that game from last night.
It's
Yeah, in
good
24
news.
hours, we're closing in on our 6th hour of conversation about it. That's enough.
That is enough. And what if you're the coach, if you're the GM, what do you do? But it almost, not that you would take comfort out of it, but there would have to be, because it's so limited. The salary cap, the skill level at the American Hockey League, what you have here, you cannot do sweeping changes.
No.
Whatever is going to happen because of who is in that dressing room.
And it's gonna
Win or lose.
happen at the deadline if you get my hint at what's gonna happen.
Here's this. Well, I'm not going to. I'll be negative again tomorrow.
Will you?
I
Yeah.
thought we were asking not to do that.
No, I'll have one negative take tomorrow.
Okay.
Or should I
Do you
finish it off today?
Do you want to flush it from your system?
Yeah, get it out.
The risk of injury increases dramatically as your give a shit meter deteriorates. So be cautious in what the plan is.
Yeah, could you put Tanev in bubble wrap, please, Rhett, just for 3 months, just to get us there?
There's a few of them you're going to probably need to do that. And
Yeah.
when you're
Grilled
horse shit and
last
nobody
night.
cares and they're trying. Now that's a bold statement. They don't care and they're not trying, but
Bold.
it does.
Before we go as well, Ryan, I know that you had a little something we're gonna get to, and we're gonna get to it, and then the feed kind of went down. So we
Yes.
kind of shook the host a little bit here. Didn't know what the hell was going on. Anyway, another new sponsor on the program.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FlamesNation and get on your way to being your best self. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? You know what you should do, you just can't do it. Like, hey, Dean, if I stop thinking about work, I could get some sleep. Brain, stop thinking about work. Doesn't always work out.
Not really
that
how it
way.
works.
No, not often. Hey, if I just stop scrolling the internet, I could get some sleep. Why can't I stop scrolling the internet? Therapy isn't just for major trauma. I know when I've had major chapters in my life, it's easier to get through when you're talking to someone about it. It doesn't have to be something massive. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, which means it's super convenient, flexible, and it'll fit your schedule no matter what your schedule is. All you're going to need to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and that'll get you matched with a licensed therapist. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/FlamesNation today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FlamesNation.
This is a great thing because there's two things about it. It just makes it easier for people to search out and get the help that they need. It can be, I think it's still a daunting thing to go and ask and go through that. And number two, you mentioned the questionnaire and how they will find a therapist that is in tune with you. If you do finally get the courage or whatever you want to call it to go out, because I've had this. Okay, we're gonna have you got an appointment with so and so. You sit down, it's like this. There is no chemistry.
Not working.
This ain't it.
You don't get me, I don't get you. And I think probably for a lot of guys, it would be hard to go through that whole process again. So you just don't bother. So BetterHelp, awesome to have them on board. I think it's a winner. Awesome. That'll do it for our show. We will be back tomorrow. Not a game day. Not until Wednesday. The Dallas Stars come in. And so how do we want to do this? Do we want to do a Twitter? How do we send in your positive vibes, or how do we get the positivities to start flowing in for the show?
We got Bobby Germany here today. Maybe we can get him to throw something up on Twitter and Instagram. Give us your reasons for positivity around the Flames. It'll be a unicorns, rainbows, and candy episode tomorrow. All the good stuff.
Halloween.
Yeah, I suppose.
Full size candy bars. Where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Rets, who's at your house man in the door?
I hate doing the door. My kid, the oldest kid, can do the door. I'm out there trick-or-treating.
Yeah, doing the door stinks.
I'm pulling the wagon.
I think I might have set myself up to do the door tomorrow. It's not
Oh,
ideal.
dude, you're a wagon guy. You're a drinker. You're a doer.
I
Now,
know.
the only thing is,
I could change, maybe pivot.
if you're the door guy, I'm just thinking of your place, because at my place you can do the door, but I've also got one of those little fire pits that you can get going and have a couple of these, couple of those going over there. Makes the door a little easier to take.
That's true.
It is fun especially when kids are your age.
Yeah.
You want to be out with them and see them doing their thing.
It's getting pretty close to peak Halloween. Fellas are 8. Like, that's your rate in the pocket there. That's some good times.
See? Feeling better already.
Oh, love it.
It's what this show does. Brings us all together.
Indeed.
Positive vibes. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
See you tomorrow, buddies.